The theory of relativity was discovered by Albert Einstein in the 20th century. We all know that. But it's his lesser known quote that's far more important to us every single day. He said, compound interest is the most powerful force in the universe. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. I wish I knew then what I know now. I graduated in 2012 with almost 6 figures in student loan. And so did all my friends. Their plan was to make the minimum monthly payments for the next 30 years. Good plan, right? Well, shackled to an obligation for the next 3 decades didn't sit right with me. I resolved to be rid of it in just 3. So I got a job, and a few years later, I was doing pretty good. I was a licensed CPA at a Big 4 firm supervising staff. I paid off all my loans, and I even had savings. But something was off. It could have been the sedentary office lifestyle, the bone-chilling winters, the 45-minute commutes, or probably all of the above. I needed a sabbatical, badly, Armenian style, and Birthright was the perfect way to do it. You see, something magical happens when you come to Armenia. It changes the way you see yourself, the way you see the world, and definitely the way you see Armenia. It happens differently for everyone, and it was quite unexpected for me. I knew I was coming here for at least 1 year, so it made sense for me to open up a bank account to avoid those pesky ATM fees. So my first week here, I walked into a branch, and while I was waiting, I picked up a pamphlet. I couldn't make out any of the words yet because I didn't speak Armenian, but finance is a universal language, and one number really stood out to me, 13.5%. Whoa, what's it for, I asked. Is this credit card? Is this a personal loan? No and no. This was the rate that the bank paid you if you had your money in a savings account for at least 1 year. This was mind-blowing. Rates back home were less than 1%, and that's if you're lucky. But we all know there's no such thing as a free lunch, and that higher rates means there's higher risk as well. So I proceeded to spend about a month backtesting, number crunching, and doing my due diligence before I felt comfortable enough to invest right here in Armenia. But I'd be lying if I said it was comfortable to invest in Armenia, because before I came here, my family and my friends all said the same thing. They said, watch out for the pickpockets at the airport. They said, don't stay out late at night. Count your change at the market. You see, these accounts weren't necessarily wrong. This was actually what my parents experienced in the early 90s before they left. They have a snapshot of Armenia from 25 years ago. But Armenia didn't just stop growing then. It pushed forward. It continued to progress, and today it's a wonderful place. For me, this place is a blank canvas that needs people like you that think differently. And most people do want to stay. But if I find it hard to make a living here compared to what they can make back in the US or Canada or Germany. But there is a way. You see, when I was doing my research on interest rates, it dawned on me. If you had your money in an Armenian bank account for the last 15 years, you would make on average 10% per year. And I went back 15 years because I wanted to be absolutely sure that this wasn't a one-off. And since the cost of living in Armenia is so low, you can be comfortable on $10,000 a year. Most people here make half that. And so if we bring this all together, if you had $100,000 at an Armenian bank account at the average rate of 10%, you could live off the interest without ever touching the principal. Now I know what you're thinking. $100,000 seems like a lot of money, but it's really minuscule compared to the $1 to $3 million that you need to retire in the US when you turn 65. So I was able to recognize the power of the interest rates in Armenia because I paid it in the US. And what worked for me was paying off my loans first to survive, then saving and investing to thrive. You can do this anywhere, including right here in Armenia. And now that you understand the power of compound interest, earn it.